Hi, my name's David. Welcome to the Restyle File. I make content related to reselling on various apps such as Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, and Depop. And today I have a thrift haul. I did mention in my previous video that I am taking a couple of weeks to shut my store down for a bit, just so that I can do a little bit of traveling, visit some friends and family. But that doesn't stop any reseller from still doing some sourcing. It's our favorite activity year-round. I especially love to do it when I'm traveling. So I want to show you guys some of the stuff that I picked out. You might be looking at my rack and thinking, there's really not much there, but I actually have an entire box over here with a bunch of shoes and other accessories. If you haven't done so, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone you think may be into this type of content. It really helps me out as a new YouTube channel. I like to provide tips, tricks, anything related to reselling, give insight on what you should source, how you should price, what applications to use. I hope you can find great advice on this channel. Let's go ahead and get started. The first item I have here is a plaid shirt by the brand Outerknown. I am not terribly familiar with this brand. I actually only learned about it a couple of weeks ago, but it has a very high sell-through rate on eBay, over 100%. Even for something as simple as plaid button-down shirts, it appears to do pretty well. The average shirt price seemed to range anywhere from $25 to $60 or $70. So I picked this item up at a Buffalo Exchange outlet here in Texas for $5. I'll probably price it at about $50 or $60. The next item I picked up was this Polo Ralph Lauren 100% cashmere boys hoodie. It's a pretty simple piece, but I think considering that it is 100% cashmere, it should still be worthwhile to list. It might need a hand wash, but otherwise it was in pretty decent condition. I say that and now I see that there's a tiny hole in the hood, a couple of tiny holes. There's none in the body. The hood is probably not the most important part. I'll just have to make sure to list that in my listing and reflect it in my price as well, of course. But I really didn't spend much on this at all. I picked this up in a bodega. This area of Texas has a lot of bodegas. We call them ropa usadas, which translates to used clothes. And they have clothes in piles. I'll see if I could include a video here of the location that I went to. This is just one of the many that we have available here. And you can get clothes as cheap as 30 cents a pound, or it ranges anywhere from there upwards. Some of the ones I go to also charge about $1 a pound. So this likely cost maybe 30 cents. But Polo Ralph Lauren does well in pretty much any department, especially when you can find it made of upscale fiber content such as cashmere. So definitely worth picking up. The next item I have here is a black sort of office or career blazer, and it is by the brand Universal Standard, not to be confused with Universal Thread from Target. So this is a label that caters to plus size women, and they make nice clothes, sort of simple chic items that you could wear to the office. And I've sold one jacket from them before, and I sold it for a pretty good price. I sold it for about $100. So it doesn't have a high sell-through rate by any stretch, but I think this is probably a good item that will probably do well on Poshmark. This blazer I will probably list at about $50, just because it really doesn't have any signs of wear. The pockets are still stitched closed, and I paid $14.99 for it at a Texas Thrift. The next item I also picked up in a bodega where you pay by the pound, and it is one of my favorite things to sell. It is a J. Crew sweater blazer. It is 100% merino wool. You can see there, it is J. Crew. It's a size small, and this blazer has definitely seen some better days. It could use with some de-pilling. I have a good sweater shaver that I could probably use on this. So I am confident that I could probably get anywhere from 40 to $70 on this. We'll see. But usually you can't go wrong with J. Crew blazers. As long as the price is there, I will always pick it up. And it definitely was for this piece. It probably didn't cost me more than $1. The next item I have here is a pair of jeans. And this is a new brand to me, but it's a well-known designer brand. It is Sandro Paris. And I thought they were pretty cool. They are just a very basic blue jean. You would almost believe that they were Wranglers or Levi's just from the sort of way that they look. They really do look like any other vintage jean, but of course they retail for a lot. Anywhere, I think when I was looking online, it said about $250. I bought these at the Buffalo Exchange outlet, so I likely paid $6 or $7 for them. I've never tried Sandro Paris before, and from what I saw, the sell-through rate isn't that high. They don't retain too much value, but I could probably eke out about $40 to $50 on them. The next item I have here is a brand that I usually do fairly well with. Sometimes it sits for a bit, but it almost always sells and for decent money. The brand is, forgive me, Maurice Girbaud Francois, I assume. It looks like the interior label was sort of torn out, but it's just a sort of basic blue jean. You could always tell them because they usually put a label on the front crotch area, and it's just a basic straight leg jean in a very dark blue. The pieces for this label that typically do better are ones that are a little bit more unique. I've sold some sort of baggy jeans or jeans that have a bunch of pockets or pleating or an interesting pocket detail at the front. But I'm still confident that I could probably get anywhere from $40 to $60 for these. This is a brand that was very big during the 80s and 90s, so I'll make sure to include that in my tags. And I also picked that up at the bodega, so I paid for it by the pound. The next item I have here, I picked up at the bodega as well, paid by the pound, and it is I'd say sort of a premium denim label. It is G-Star, and this one is the Restored Denim line. So it appears that these might be sort of used jeans, and what they do is they sort of reinforce them. So all these little areas of blue are reinforced stitching. It also reflects that on the interior. You could see that they have additional panels that they sew in, and this brand can be very, very, very hit and miss, but I figured this was costing me under $1 to purchase, and they're distressed. They're in a larger size. These are a size 40, so I figured it was worth a shot. I would probably price these at about $60. And this last clothing item that I have here was a style pickup, also purchased in the bodega. These give me Christina Aguilera Dirty vibes. You all remember her album Stripped? And it looks almost like suede or leather, but it's just a sort of velour fabric. And it's a nothing label, something called Label. But I think that these will do well on Depop, possibly Poshmark as well, or eBay. But they just are a sort of brown with blue fading across, and it was less than 50 cents, so I figured why not. I'll probably list those at about $40. Something else that I picked up in the bodega was this. It's just a bag strap. You might be wondering, okay, why did you buy that and not the bag? Well, first of all, it's a designer bag strap. So, I don't know how to pronounce this one. It's T-O-U-S, TOUS. But you could either sell these types of bag straps, especially for luxury ones, on their own, on eBay, Poshmark, etc. Usually for about anywhere from 15 to 50 bucks, depending on what kind of label it is. But I also tend to, a lot of times, find nice bags, nice leather bags, but it doesn't have a strap, in which case I like to collect these, especially when they're cheap. That way I can always lump it in. And of course I disclose that in my listing as well. to let the buyer know that it's going to have a mismatched strap, but it's better than selling it without one. This I also picked up in the bodega. It is a lunchbox by Betsy Johnson, and it's just a simple insulated lunch bag, but I would imagine that I could probably get anywhere from 20 to 30 bucks for this. Betsy Johnson, you do have to be very careful for. It is very hit and miss, but something like this, the cost of entry was very low, so I'm really not taking a big risk at all. It'll sell for sure. Another thing I picked up at the bodega, because they typically price belts at I think like 50 cents or $1. Here I have a belt with a giant buckle, just because, well, those are always in style. So it was cheap, it's real leather, it's a solid heavy buckle. I'm confident that I could get anywhere from $25 to $35 for it. I couldn't see anything in terms of a label other than it says genuine leather somewhere. We'll see how that does. This is a new brand to me, but I just thought these were so adorable. They are just a little sandal mule type shoe, and it is by the label Maude Frisson. And apparently this is a pretty upscale label. They retail for a lot of money, so probably about $200 or so. Looks like this one still has some of its original tags on the bottom. It definitely has some dirt and grime, but this is really nothing that I don't think a couple of handy wipes could probably take care of pretty easily. I picked these up at the bodega as well, so they probably cost anywhere from $1 to $2 or $3. The next item I picked up was this pair of Burden kids snow boots. I think they're for snowboarding, but right now the sell-through rate is very high for Burden snow boots just because it's the season for it. From what I saw, it looked like there was actually only one pair available for Burden boys snow boots on eBay, and 2 have sold in the last 90 days, so that means a sell-through rate of 200%, 150%? Don't quote me, but they were probably $1 or so, and they're in pretty good condition. I tested these out. You're supposed to twist them and they get tighter, and they appear to be functioning very well. Soles have a lot of tread left, so that should be an easy $40 to $50. These I picked up at the Buffalo Exchange outlet. They are just a pair of men's Teva sandals. I don't know what the exact name is. They are a size 12. And they appear to be in pristine condition. So doesn't really appear that they were worn at all. They cost me $8. I'm confident I could get at least $40 to $50 or $60 on them. With Tevas, what you just want to be sure of is that you're always checking all the areas where the uppers connect with the soles, because they do have a tendency to come unstuck. So you can just pull at the edges a little bit, see if there's any sort of separation. Back here it looks like there is, but that's just the style of the shoe. So it's not real separation, but I've definitely fallen victim to that before. So make sure you always check it. Here I have a fun style pickup. And I've heard that these can do really well on Depop and Poshmark. It is, you can tell from the little S there, that it is Skechers. Specifically, it is Something Else by Skechers, which I believe was a sort of sub-label beneath Skechers that they did at around the turn of the century. So these are super 90s. They look like something a Bratz doll would wear, which is a great sign. They have a little bit of ruffle here at the top, and they are 100% suede, and the interiors actually look really great as well. They have this fun little corduroy floral print. They are a size 7.5, and I am confident that I could get at least $40, but I've heard about 90s, early aughts Skechers doing as well as 100 or 120. So I might list high and see what happens. But they're in excellent condition. I paid $3 for these at the bodega. Here I have sort of an odd pickup, but anytime I see these, I do like to pick them up just to sort of include with certain things that sell. This is just a, what's the word? Travel suit bag, but it is by J. Crew. So perhaps if I sell this J. Crew blazer over here, I might include this with it, just to sort of add that extra touch on there. This cost me 50 cents, and I feel like it really elevates the purchase. So if I ever see these, or for other labels that I tend to sell, like Brooks Brothers, or Michael Kors, Kate Spade, I tend to pick them up, just to include them. I'm sure you could probably sell them individually, but I like to include them with certain purchases, especially if I sell like a giant J. Crew coat, I will likely include this in there. It's also great because I can put all the clothes in here when I'm traveling back. With this brand, you definitely want to do your research and be mindful. I've been burned by this brand before. It is Jeffrey Campbell. So it's a platform type of loafer. I wish it was one of the ones that had the horse bit, just because that would mean it would be even better. But they are in pristine condition. Doesn't appear that they were ever really worn. Just has the price there that I paid, $15 or $14.99. And they are white. The uppers are leather. They are a size 9. And this particular style was called the student loafer. And from what I've seen, it does appear to do very well. So after doing a lot of research on this, I made sure to pick it up. $15, I'll probably price it at about $80, just because they're in great condition, really nothing wrong with them, and see what happens. But I've seen some of these selling for as high as $150, but usually those are the ones that have the gold horse bit, and probably just because it looks like Gucci. But Jeffrey Campbell, I'm very careful about. I remember I had a pair of sandals by them that I bought just because of the label, and I was stuck with those for about 1.5 years. So now I'm very, very, very mindful of whenever I pick this label up. But these, I'm confident, will do well. This last one is pretty exciting. It is a designer label. Let me show you the shoe first and see if you could tell. And y'all, let me tell you, this shoe is my size. I very much might keep these. I'm my own best customer. But it actually might not appear like the label, but it's replica. And this is actually by a French label, Maison Martin Margiela. So this is the Margiela replica sneaker. This particular style is called the Submerge because it looks like they were sort of dipped partially into a wax sealant of some sort. And there's generous chipping throughout, but these are in excellent condition. And the reason they're called replica is because it's a line of Margielas that is based off of other pieces of historical clothing that they've found. So here you can see on this label that it says that it is in the style of men's sports shoes from Austria in the 70s. And it's made of lambskin and calf split, whatever that means. But these are probably about $320 to $500 or so retail. I'm confident that if I sold them, I could probably get anywhere from $150 to $250. But again, they're in my size. I love Margiela, so I very well might keep these. These aren't as big a hit with me as the tabbies. I'm a tabby kind of person, but I like them. I like them enough. I don't really have a lot of sneakers, so this sneaker might do. And those actually cost me $10 at the flea market. I found them at this stand that had a bunch of shoes all over. You could usually find these types at any flea market in this area, and they usually sell shoes anywhere from $10 to $25 depending on what it is, but every once in a while you could find a nice score. Sometimes they do find the designer stuff and they'll upsell it, but this one, they don't really say Margiela anywhere. You can kind of see it on the inside of the insoles. They do say Maison Margiela, but it's sort of a under the radar brand that a lot of people might not know. So I was able to score a great deal on these. That's it for my haul today. I hope you liked it. Comment down below if there was anything that you thought was a particularly great find, or if you found any of these labels yourself. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you haven't done so already, please like, comment, subscribe, or share this video with anyone that you think may be into reselling content. I try to upload content every week related to reselling, be it hauls, what sold videos, or also thrift with me's. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic sales week and a happy holiday season. Something Big Lunchbox doesn't want you to know about? Not only is this great for your lunch, it also is a hat. See ya. I'm stunning.